Manuel Ugarte keeps pushing from within. I do want to join Manchester United, but what is the status as we speak? Got an update on that? Well, Casemiro might be thanking Lady Luck. Thank you, Lady Luck, for what happened at Al Ittihad, as he was supposed to be leaving Man United only for things to change at the Saudi Pro League side. My name is Webb. Welcome to the United of Sport. I have got an update as well concerning the situation with Jadon Sancho and why it is dragging. All this are here coming to you, of course, right now to try and get an idea of what is happening or what is expected to happen in the coming days concerning our transfers. Like, share, and subscribe. But let me first speak briefly about the situation we are found in. We are in a sell to buy situation. But listen, certain players, like have been insisting for a long time, are not willing to move a muscle. The likes of Victor Lindelof, who was seen watching on a crutch, now we know that he's on 120k per week. He wouldn't want to leave, not now, when before he was wanted by big clubs like Atletico Madrid, Juventus, name them. This time around, no big club is flattering him. It was only clubs from Turkey, Fenerbahce, and name them, who were seemingly showing some bit of interest in him, only for Erik ten Hag. That was before Erik ten Hag refused to sell him back then when he was wanted by Atletico and Juventus. Now, these small Turkish clubs and what have you are interested in him when he's on crutches. He's within the final months of his career of his contract at Man United. He's 29. In January, he can move freely to any other club. Obviously, if you are him, would be on a rush? Would you really be in a rush to move away from Man United? I don't think so, unless something magically good happens, which is definitely very unlikely to happen. The reality is, for Lindelof, we are almost certain we will be stuck with him. That's what is happening from the latest that is coming through. But let's talk about Manuel Ugarte. Now, as it is, Ugarte went himself and communicated with Paris Saint-Germain, Luis Enrique. In fact, he requested to be left out of the squad because he is focusing on one thing: Manchester United getting him. He desperately wants the deal to happen. He spoke to George Mendes, pleaded with him, telling him, please make it happen. I do want to join the biggest football club in the world. And of course, solutions are being found. The issue is time is flying so fast, and Man United will want to get solutions quick. So, what is happening is that Ugarte is hoping that Man United will find the solutions. And what are these? Selling Scott McTominay. The beauty is that Fulham has returned, showing interest in him this time around, hoping that they will get him because he's a player that Marco Silva is desperate to sign. That's the boss of Fulham. And now Napoli as well. Last week, the directors of Napoli were in the UK to speak to his agents, to Scott McTominay's agents. And I told you here how they agreed personal terms between the two. And now it has to be between the clubs to move on. But it seems, though, that Napoli wouldn't be really willing to spend 30 million, but also they'd also find themselves in a sell-to-buy situation where they've got to first sell Victor Osimhen, get the money, some of it, to buy Scott McTominay and, of course, Romelu Lukaku. So it's a tricky situation, but at least there are things that are moving in a subtle way, you would say. In a subtle way. For Man United, probably the first bidder will take Scott McTominay, but even for Scott, he's, I think, prepared mentally to leave Man United, and any club that comes with the right fee, goes into negotiations. He's not the kind of player who would want to fail the plans of Manchester United. I think he has got the heart of the club, that's to be honest, but also he's not really on crazy wages that he would feel, he's losing out, because my feeling is actually if Scott McTominay left Man United, he would be earning more than he is earning now because he's on 60k per week. I'm sure a team like Napoli can give him 80k, or even Fulham brother can give him 80k, even close to 100. They can pay him that much. So I think for me, either way, it would be a win for him, and it would be profit for Manchester United. Any amount we get for Scott. So that's what's going on with Scott McTominay. But here is the story with the other player who we were hoping would be leaving, Casemiro. Now, so it turns out, I told you before how Casemiro was most likely going to be heading to Saudi, and several clubs had shown interest in him, but it was only Al Ahly, Al Ittihad rather, who were so serious about signing him. Not until things changed. Now remember that Casemiro was a bit, I think, smart. He said, "I'm not going to rush." He wasn't in a rush to leave Man United. So, so what happened is Al Ittihad lose their president who resigned immediately. They lose the coach, that is Stefano Pioli, who was their coach. So, and these are the two people who were pushing to sign in their plan. They were pushing to sign Casemiro. So that meant things had to change because when the new boss came in, a former Man United legend as well, Laurent, the former French national team boss, when he came in, he changed the plan because in his transfer plan, he did not have Casemiro. So things changed, and that way, Casemiro, I would say, survived Saudi. And perhaps that's the motivation he needed to play the football we saw him play against Fulham, where he was probably the best player, but also, of course, the links with Ugarte, of Man United with Ugarte and staff, perhaps could have pushed him to put on his best performances. So, where we find ourselves now is in a place where Casemiro is not about to leave, not this summer. Probably he will leave next summer, maybe. But as it looks now, because he's got 2 years left on his contract, he will just stay and play his earn his £340,000 per week. The reality is, with Casemiro, there's always been a mixture of feelings about him. Even before he overturned and showed us what he can still do with in the Fulham game, there were still people who were feeling that with his experience, he's one of those players, him and maybe Harry Maguire, who we can keep around for a bit to help the newcomers and the youngsters, to just give them a season with tapping into their experience, because we all know there's quite a number of things, one thing or two that a player like Kobe will learn from Casemiro with his experience. Also, several other players can learn. Delete can learn something from Harry Maguire. So you get a sense that it won't be the worst thing. And if Casemiro can give us the games he gave, like the one he gave us against Fulham, even if the search may not come so consistently, I think for me it wouldn't be the worst idea to keep him for one more season and maybe find solutions, better solutions for him in the next summer. So that's where we are, but it's not an extremely regrettable situation. It would only be regrettable if we completely fail to sign our first priority of a number 6 in Manuel Ugarte. Because for me, now success in the number 6 department is signing Manuel Ugarte. If we don't get Ugarte, I don't care if we get the Norwegian boy Sander Badge. I don't care if we get him and Amrabat and Fofana. I think success in the summer for Manchester United in the number 6 department would be signing Manuel Ugarte. And I love the fact that the player is pushing from within. The thing is, PSG are not really desperate because it was probably not their idea for him to leave. It was not really in their plan. They were not really in a rush to make it happen. So they would be feeling, if we don't get enough money, we can still as well stick with you for a bit, hoping we can get better money in the future. But the solutions are now being figured out, and I think it's a matter of time that we will find one that will suit everything we want to do. But even Sofiane Amrabat is still a player that Man United are hoping they will get. So if we succeed in letting go of course, Facundo Pellistri, who is closer to Panathinaikos, if we let go of Scott McTominay, who is for me at least, I think probably 60% leaving or 70%, if we succeed in letting go of Jadon Sancho, who PSG really want, and he's probably at 50%, 50-50, he could go. Even if it's on loan, again, we are easing the wage because I don't see United, sending a player on loan and still paying them, especially if he has been sent to PSG. They do have the money to pay him. If we can let go of Christian Eriksen, so all these are players who can give us room to bring in Ugarte and Amrabat. Just those. If we can do that, and I honestly don't feel like it's rocket science. I think it's possible, it's doable, and we can still get the players we need. But if we fail to sign Ugarte, yes, the transfer window will be good, but we will be feeling, because for me, I still insist the most crucial position for Man United to solve in this summer has been the number 6. Now, of course, we know as well that we are linked with several left backs, and I'll talk about them perhaps in my next video. We want to sign a left back, and we'll be linked with several of them. For me, even if we didn't bring in a left back this entire season, we need the right number 6. If we get it right with the number 6, we can cope without the new left back, as we hope that the other injured ones will come in and rely on Diogo Dalot and Nusal Mazraoui to fill in that gap. in the meantime, but also be creative and switch formations and play back three in certain games if we have to. So for me, I think Ugarte should be the full focus for Manchester United. That's an update I just wanted to drop you, as of course we do count down what's going on in the coming days, or what's bound to happen in the coming days. Behind the scenes, a lot is going on, but it will only make sense if Ugarte is delivered at Carrington. Thank you. Catch you later.